All right, so I sent you a video before saying that that evap coil was freezing up, and that's the discharge line, the one on the right, and it was only freezing up to about there. And then all this was not frozen, coming all the way back through, going to the compressor. But then the suction line, this suction line was frozen up to just the top of here. But that part from right up here going over and then down, and then going down, none of that was frozen. So the coil itself is freezing. It's because it was low on charge. That's what was causing that to freeze. But it stopped freezing from that point all the way up through. None of that was frozen. And then as soon as it got into the cabinet here, it was frozen going across the top of here and coming down. All that was frozen, all that was frozen, and the compressor was frozen. Trying to figure out why that was freezing. None of that was freezing. So we figured out why that was freezing, and then I just figured out what this was freezing. So if you see circuit number 1 right there, so here is liquid refrigerant coming from the condenser. It goes onto that little T, and it comes out and it goes into this little metering device. This is just like a bypass type thing. This is in the system because this suction line has to be at a certain temperature to cool the compressor down. If this suction line is too warm, the compressor will overheat and go out on thermal overload. So what this does, it takes liquid refrigerant and it lowers the pressure to a lower pressure. Then it's sending cold liquid and gas mixture up through here, and it mixes with that suction line way up top of there. Let's see if I can get a picture of it. See how it just goes into that bigger line right there. That smaller line goes up into that bigger line. It dumps into there, and that returns back to the compressor. So it takes liquid refrigerant from the coil after it's condensed, and that liquid's going into the liquid line, and then it hooks to this little line here, sends liquid refrigerant, it meters it to a lower pressure. Now it's cold gas liquid mixture. That goes up, it dumps right into the suction line and goes back to the compressor immediately. It's to cool this thing down if your suction line's too warm. So this bulb right here is what senses the temperature of your suction line, and it opens and closes that valve. If you follow that transmission line over, it goes to the sensing bulb right here. And if you follow this suction line, it goes to this compressor, which is circuit number 2. But this operates circuit number 1. So it's taking the temperature of this discharge line to control the liquid refrigerant that it dumps back into the suction line to cool compressor number 2. That's the problem. This was not on. So when this is not on, this temperature of this suction line's too high. It tells this to open and dump liquid refrigerant into circuit number 1 suction line, which was causing this to freeze up from the point it was dumping in all the way to the compressor. That's what our problem was right here. And that's why it was only freezing up this little section. And then that was freezing up because it is low on charge. Well, I'm not completely sure if it was low on charge yet. That metering device might have some sort of restriction. And we also have some louvers in the back that could possibly have been closed, causing an airflow issue, causing it to freeze up. We're still digging into that, but we'll let you know. But we figured out this one so far. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.